Well, Invasion episode 10, the finale. It just happened. I just watched it. We're going to talk about it. We are definitely going to talk about this episode. Before we go into it, please make sure to like this video if you guys have been enjoying it. Please make sure to subscribe for new. But we're going to talk about Invasion episode 10. I'm going to do a recap like I always do, everything that happened in this episode. Then I'm going to give you my rating on the episode. And then we're going to talk about the whole show. We're going to go into some pretty rough territory. We're going to put out our honest opinion on the show. We're going no holds bar, I think. It might get a little bit ugly. Let's get into it. So as you guys remember in the ending of last episode, the aliens were defeated, right? We nuke the heck out of that alien spacecraft in the sky. Hinata, I'm sorry, I kept saying Hinata like Pinata. You guys were all mad. I like Hinata better, but Hinata, I guess is how you say it. And, so we all had these theories, like maybe Hinata was in a hive mind, right? So let's find out if that actually happened. So episode 10 begins with a black screen. We have this Japanese narration, a broadcast of them celebrating the defeat of the aliens. Japan is pretty much congratulating themselves for being the ones to defeat the aliens. We then cut to Hinata's father and Mitsuki. They're driving. Mitsuki's obviously upset. She's looking out the window. Hinata's father goes into details about some story about how Hinata used to have a compass. This will play into the episode. I thought the story didn't really matter though. And then before the opening credits, we go to Casper and Trevante, and Casper's going into the CAT scan. Because as you guys remember, he passed out and pretty much died at the end of the last episode. So Trevante is still trying to save him. So he's going into the CAT scan, and then we have the opening credits. So after the credits, we go back to Casper. This is where he's pretty much confirmed to be dead. He has no brain activity. Boo-hoo, Casper's dead, right? So then we go to Anisha, and she's at the spot where Ahmed got shot, right? And so his body's not there. I'm guessing that people took his body. She's with the kids, and they're at the spot where he got shot. Anisha has to tell her son and daughter that their father is dead. The son wants Anisha to tell the daughter the truth about what happened, that they left their father. And so Anisha's sort of forced to tell the daughter what actually happened. And she says that some bad men took her father away. And so her son is angry at his mom now for not being able to save their dad. We then go back to Mitsuki. She goes to her apartment. She takes down her David Bowie poster. She walks through the streets now as everyone's celebrating the streets, like Japan has just defeated the enemy. The whole world is celebrating. We see everyone, all the humans celebrating in the street. I thought it was a good score here. Very ominous score while everyone was celebrating to focus on Mitsuki's feelings and how she was still upset while everyone else was celebrating. I thought the score was good. So she's walking through. She goes to Hinata's apartment. She finds that compass that her father was talking about. And she takes the compass, I believe. And she has this memory box of all of Hinata's stuff. And that's the scene. We then come back to Trevante and Jam. And they're outside the hospital. Trevante wants to leave. He doesn't want to stay to watch Casper die. Probably because of what happened to his son, right? And he's already seen that happen once. He doesn't want that to happen again. He also believes that it was the bomb that killed the aliens, right? Well, Jam believes that it was Casper saying stop. And that's what actually stopped them. And so they go back and forth on this for a little bit. And then Trevante tells Jam to go find her family. And he leaves, but not before Jam giving Trevante some of Casper's drawings. And so Trevante leaves with the drawings. He's again walking into a street full of people celebrating. They're all going crazy. They take a picture with him because he's a soldier. He's stone-faced while everyone's all happy. We see a scene where a couple of humans are beating up a dead alien on the street with a baseball bat. Fight the Power song is playing. He's walking around. He starts reminiscing about a memory with his wife and the son as he's looking at another family. He goes to a payphone and he calls someone to go because he wants to take a plane back home to the U.S. After this, we're then met with a scene where we go back to Anisha and the kids. They're still in the woods, right? So they're able to find a little cabin and they decide to bunker down there to make a little bit of a fire. The son has a camera or a TV or something that he's able to watch the news on. He sees everyone celebrating. They're saying the war is over, and he's watching that. And so he's asking his mom, why can't we go back home? And Anisha, she sort of gets over dramatic here. And she was like, when things look good, that means maybe that they're not good. So not yet. I don't want you guys to go yet. So now he's angrier at the mom now for saying this stuff because he obviously wants to go home. Anisha doesn't want to go yet. She sort of goes to another spiel about how the world is testing us. And then the kid is like, well, the world broke us. And that's that little scene. We were then brought back to Mitsuki, who seems like she's packing up and she's walking somewhere. She's at this train station. I don't exactly know where she's going, if you guys want to let me know on that. But she's backpacking to somewhere. She sees some like monk that's like a young monk who's on the side of the train station, and he sort of like flirts with her and hits on her, and he's like, where you're going, it's like it's dangerous, or there's nothing really out there or whatever. So he's like, so you're welcome to stay in the temple. And she's just sort of like, okay, like she believes him, and they go in the temple. They start talking about philosophical stuff, and his personality is very like, he's a monk, but he's also like anti-monk. Like he wants to feel like the physical pleasures, and he says that their like philosophy, like monk's philosophy, sort of takes that away. Like he's into like weed and beer and sex and stuff. And so then he asks like Mitsuki what she believes in, and she's like, I believe in the memory of possibility. She starts talking about dreams and how they're important. Seems like she like ponders being a monk here, since they have to like give up the past, and it seems like that's what she wants to do. So she like burns Hinata's jacket, I believe is what it was, which I guess symbolizes her destroying the past, and she wants to like move on from that. Sort of a dumb scene again. Like she's just talking to some random monk she found, like, and it doesn't really lead anywhere. Honestly, like we're then brought back to Trevante, who seems like he has to, talk to someone before he gets on a plane to the U.S. This is some military official he's talking to. It's like an interview in this little room. And the guy just asks Trevante all these questions, like, did you encounter the aliens? Like, how did you defeat the aliens? Trevante just doesn't answer him. He's literally just like, I don't think he says anything. He doesn't go into details about how he killed them, nothing. And so then the guy is like, did you see this gook, the alien gook stuff? Because it seems like that's changing our atmosphere. Again, he just doesn't answer him. And the guy just sort of gives up, and he was like, all right, we'll get you that plane. And that's how this scene ends. And so now this next scene is a little bit interesting. So we see Jam and Casper laying down in his hospital bed. Casper's obviously dead still, right? He still has the breathing tube in. Seems like they're still trying to keep him alive. Jam's laying next to him. She puts the headphones in both their ears, and they start listening to some song, right? After this, we see, like, we go into a little bit of the future. Jam is gone. The headphones are still in, but they disconnect his breathing tube, which means Casper's, like, officially dead now. Like, the dude's gone. And we see Jam outside in the hallways, and she runs into her mom, right? Because her mom worked at the hospital. That's why they wanted to go there in the first place. So they reconnect, and they're hugging, and they're crying or whatever. But I don't know if you guys noticed this. I'm sure you did. There's a moment where we see them hugging, and it seems like the image starts to like distort a little bit. We hear like a little like beep boop, like a little like noise, like alien noise, and it's like our actual image like distorts a little bit. Like what we're looking at isn't real. And so this is where I started sat up in my chair, and I was like, okay, I see what they're trying to do here. Maybe everything we're seeing isn't real, Like all this celebration stuff is just what the aliens want us to make us believe. And we'll talk about it after. So we see that. I'm interested, right, about what's going on now. We then see Trevante in a plane. He's obviously going home. We see Anisha and the kids are having like a little prayer service for Ahmed. They're looking over like the place where he got shot, saying a little prayer for him. The kid literally says, sorry, bye, and then walks away. And then the mom is like, oh, come on, and that's it. So now after this, it gets interesting again. We go to the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. We see this giant crashed starship, the spaceship, right? That's crashed. I'm guessing this is the one that they nuked? No, it can't be the one they nuked, right? It's a spaceship in the Amazon rainforest. I'm not sure if this is the one they nuked or not, but it's on the ground. We see some radiation suit guys go in, and so they're looking around. One of them touches a wall, and the wall starts to like ripple, and that's sort of like the whole scene, and that's all we get from that. So right after this pretty interesting alien scene, we have to go back to some domestic issues because those are so important. This domestic relationship with Trevante and his wife is so important. So let's, for the season finale, let's step away from the alien stuff and go see Trevante and his wife finally reconnect, right? So Trevante goes home. He sees the wife. The wife is like shocked to see him. He starts saying, I love you. She's like, it ain't that easy. You can't just come up in here and say I love you. Like, you did so many bad things. Like, you can't just right these wrongs by whatever. And then they start talking like in lingos and riddles, and he's like, what if he doesn't want to go? And then she's like, well, then he's got to like do whatever. It was so dumb. And then the conclusion to this is that he's like, what if I found another job? And then she's like, really? And starts crying like tears of happiness, and they hug. Like, your dude's a military soldier risking his life to protect your country, and you don't want to be with him because he's doing that. Like, I get that maybe he's working too hard, but that's the sole reason why. Because right when he says that, like, I found another job, she just takes him back. Like, what a bitch for not supporting your soldier, all right? Or am I wrong? Like, that's so dumb. What a terrible character. So after this, we get a quick scene of Anisha's son. He's got the dragon glass thing. The dude just chucks it in the woods. He's like, fuck it, who cares at this point? He chucks the thing in the woods. He looks up, and the sky's like a turquoise color, looking like the northern lights a little bit. And that's that scene. We then cut to Mitsuki, who gets an email where it looks like she's able to see what the satellite's doing. That big satellite seems like it's doing something we don't really know, and we see the satellite start to move. We then go to Trevante, who's with his wife at the beach. They go to the beach. I don't know how much time has passed since that little reunion, but yeah, he's in like a suit now, maybe like his little suit job he's got. I don't know, but he's at the beach, and he gets Casper's drawings from the trunk, and he goes and sits on the beach and he looks at them. So he's flipping through, and there's one drawing that is a bunch of columns, and it's like repeated drawings of the same Japanese letter, like over and over again. And so he like does some Google Translate thing on the Japanese letter, on the Japanese word, sorry. And the word translates to Hoshi, which is obviously going back to the Hoshi 12, which was the spaceship that Hinata was first in and that ultimately got destroyed, right? So it says Hoshi. Who knows what the heck that like means? Just another like a connection that nobody knows anything about. Like things are connected, but they're not explained, right? We then go back to Anisha's kid, the one who threw the dragon glass. He picks up the dragon glass, and the dragon glass starts to, like move a little bit, more ripples, some connection, like something's going on. We then are brought with a really, really weird scene that I don't really know what to make of it. We see Casper's dead body, right? We zoom into his head, and we're brought into like this memory. It seems like Casper's waking up in like this memory, where it seems like he's in his house. He hears like his father arguing with his mother. But then all of a sudden he's in like this forest, right? Standing across from him in the forest is Hinata's father. And he's like, there you are, we finally came. And he's like, you never open up your gift. And Casper's like, what? And so he gives him like this little red box. And Casper opens up the box, and it's the compass, right? And so he looks up, and Hinata's father is now gone. And, the compass points west, I think. And so he starts moving west, and on the floor in the forest starts to like light up, and we see like some sort of like alien plants growing. So the plants are growing. We then go to Trevante, who's at the beach with his wife now. And so the water starts receding back, like it's moving towards something, right? And so then we get a shot of like all the characters' faces, and they're all looking up, and they're all looking up at something, right? And then we get to see what they're looking at, and we see like the beach shot of like Trevante and the wife. And there's like this giant spaceship in the middle of the water. It's like this, giant thing looking like this. It's like in a triangle at the top, and then it comes down nice and tiny. If you ever watch Arrival, you guys have ever seen the movie Arrival? Great sci-fi movie. If you guys want real sci-fi, it's actually smart, sophisticated, and knows what they're doing with their characters and their story. Then watch Arrival, because, it's a similar thing where it's like an alien spaceship floating in the middle of the water. And that's sort of like what that reminded me of, right? And so that's the last shot, and that's how the episode ends. And so I'm rating this episode a 1.6 out of 5. This may be the worst. I think this is tied for the lowest I've rated an episode yet. Because, dude, honestly, like it's honestly like I'm about to get really pissed off. Because it's so bad. All this episode was, man, it even hurts to say, like, it's just them walking around again. It's a bunch of people just like not knowing what the hell is going on. They're just walking around. And we haven't gotten any answers to anything. All those hive mind things where it's like Hinata was in a hive mind, or like she's in this dream, like was she? Like who knows? We didn't get any answers. Listen, I'm literally gonna tell you what Simon Kinberg probably was thinking in that writing room. He was like, what if we had a global alien invasion, but we didn't show any of the alien invasion? We actually focused on the humans and like how they would react to something that they don't even know, like what the fuck is going on. How interesting would that be? And the other guy was probably like, wow, that's so interesting, yeah. And for the whole show, we'll just have these characters just like walking around wondering like what the hell is going on. And we'll never tell them, we'll never give them any inklings about what is actually going on. We'll never tell them the purpose of the aliens. We'll barely even show these stupid things. We won't waste any CGI money on them. And then at the very end, you know how we're going to end it? We're going to end it with just a giant spaceship on the Earth. They're going to think that they won. They're going to think that they defeated the aliens. Then all of a sudden there'll be a spaceship on the Earth. And that's how it'll end. It's honestly embarrassing. Like, dude, Simon Kinberg, I know who he is now. I know that he's the writer of Dark Phoenix, of the X-Men movie, an atrocious movie, an abomination of an X-Men movie. He's not a good writer. I might put him in the category now with what's the Game of Thrones writers' names? D.B. Wise and David Benoff. I don't even know how to pronounce the names anymore. No, but honestly, let's take a real look at this episode, this finale, this poor excuse for finale. Let's look at what these characters actually did in this finale. Anisha, what did she do? What the she walked around like she always does, just dumbfounded and spewing some nonsense. Her son did more in this episode. He's just angry at the mom. Trevante, he finally got to go home, right? He goes home. He reunites with his wife, who is a bitch, and they see a spaceship, right? Casper's dead. Dude does nothing till the very end, where he has like this weird dream. And then what was that thing with Jam and the mom? And we see the picture distort, and then like we don't get any answers. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to give us more than what they gave us. Like, I get what you're trying to do with this show. Like, I get it. You're trying to be different. You're trying to be unique. You're not trying to give us the aliens. Trying to do some weird human perspective, global, we're all in this together type of bullshit thing, right? But like, if you're not getting, like, we don't know what these aliens want to do here. They came out of nowhere. We don't know what their purpose was, what they're doing. It was a whole season of this. It was a 10-episode, hour-long season of setup, of filler setup. It's not even funny, though. Like, if you're setting up for a season 2, how is anybody going to get excited for the season 2? You can't waste 10 hours of someone's time on these characters that I didn't care for. Did you guys care for any of these characters? This was one of the worst shows I've ever seen, ever. My quick rating for the season overall, I'll give it like a 2.3 out of 5. That might even be higher than what it's supposed to be. I don't know how to rate a show this bad. Like, every show I've ever went out to try and watch, you know, like, I'm still new to this YouTube game stuff, has always been like good. You know, it's always like, I mean, I've seen like the Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Game of Thrones stuff. I've seen some other shows that I've kept up with. But every show I've watched, I've usually generally liked. You know, there's always like a bad season or two, right? Now I get it. Like, this is only the first season. Maybe there is some grand story here that they planned out of like a 6-season thing, and they were like, let's let the first season just introducing us to these characters. Maybe they thought these characters were good. But honestly, this whole season was just people walking around not knowing what's going on, and us as the audience hoping for answers in the finale and then not getting answers to anything. How do you set up a season like that? How do you write that in the first place and think it's good? I honestly don't think this show will be renewed. I think it's atrocious. I think it's bad. I honestly hope it gets canceled, because I held on hope. If you guys saw my videos, I was so hopeful every episode. You could tell I was. Even when I was destroying it, even when I was like bombarding the show with negativity, at the end I always said, hey, hopefully next episode. Well, now we're at the finale. Now you've wrapped up. You've told us this story in the season, and it is abomination of sci-fi storytelling. I will tell you that much right now. And one of the last things I want to say about this season as a whole is that, I've said it before, clickbait show, man. You promote Sam Neill. You have him on your posters. You got him all over the freaking trailer. And your trailer showed a lot of action. I swear, I'm not going to show the trailer here in this video. It'll take too long. But I implore you to go watch that first trailer and not tell me that there's so much action in that trailer. Because that's not what the show is filled with. You got no Sam Neill. Not even last episode, you don't even show Sam Neill. That's what everyone came to watch this show for, was Sam Neill. And then you got no action in this show. And your action was shit. Your storytelling was shit. The characters were shit. The whole show was shit. Looked like shit. It's too dark. So that's it. So I don't want to rant any longer. Please like this video if you guys end up enjoying it. For the ones that might unsubscribe now that the show is over, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys making this the biggest thing on my channel. I know it was mostly negative, but we tried. You can't say that I didn't try to be as positive as I could about this show when I tried. For the ones that liked it, Godspeed. I hope you maybe rewatch this down the line and continue to enjoy it, whatever. If there is any invasion news, I will update you guys about it. If the show gets canceled, I make a video and I'll maybe go into reasons why. Usually the creators will say something why it's canceled or whatever, right? We can talk about that in a video. If it gets renewed, I'll come on and I'll say it's renewed. And then maybe down the line, we'll do a trailer reaction. Maybe once my channel is big, and so maybe we can do some watch-alongs. I think that's a plan I actually want to do with this channel sometime in the future. But, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for everyone, for, like I said, for watching this video, for subscribing, for everyone that commented. Another smart community here that I'm sorry we had put up with this show, and for the ones that actually watched it, I salute you. Your service is done. We have done what we had to do. For the ones that just watched these videos and didn't watch the show, congrats. You guys didn't have to watch something that was really that bad. But let me know what you guys thought of the finale. Did you guys think it was good? Maybe some of you guys thought it was a great finale. I thought it was one of the most boring fucking things I've ever seen. But let me know down below your thoughts. Like I always say, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you all in the next video.